Knicks Nation, what's going on? We have reached the summer of Knicks basketball. Today, I'm going to talk about the Knicks free agents, who they should bring back, and who they should let go, kick out the door. So I'm pretty much going to share my screen with you guys, and we're just going to walk through it and talk through it together. And the list is, it's not a big list, but it's some big names on this list. So here are the New York Knicks free agents this summer. OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein, Alec Burks, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Precious Achiuwa. We're going to start, obviously, with OG Anunoby. So OG Anunoby was acquired from the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks traded RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley. I'm bringing that up because if you traded RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, good assets, it's not nothing to sneeze at for OG Anunoby. And you saw what OG Anunoby brought to this team. The Knicks record with OG Anunoby in the lineup was 26-5. And obviously we already know the great January that, the New York Knicks had as a team with Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, all healthy on the basketball court. Now we're already seeing reports that, the Philadelphia 76ers may be interested in OG Anunoby if they can't get their hands on Paul George. The way I look at this is you have to keep OG Anunoby. Have to. That should be priority number one, in my opinion, keeping OG Anunoby. I'm not sure what he would ask for. I'm seeing a lot of things around $150 million, 4 years, $150. Maybe you can get another player option in there or a team option to tack on at the end of that contract. But what are the downsides of OG Anunoby? Obviously, his health. He only has played 70-plus games one time in his career. And we knew that when we acquired him. However, his impact on the court, when he is out there, proof is in the pudding. You see his impact on the court. But I get the trepidation from a lot of fans. I get the trepidation from a lot of media members saying that you really can't overpay Anunoby due to his injury history. But if you're the New York Knicks, you traded away some good assets. You really can't afford to let this guy go. So the way I look at it is OG Anunoby wants to be a New York Knick because he went out there for Game 7, risked his body pretty much with a torn hamstring, going out there, couldn't run in a contract year. That tells me a lot about the player. He wanted to be out there for his teammates. I think he loves New York. I think he loved his time being here. And also, ultimately, I think the New York Knicks will wrap this contract up quickly, and he will be probably one of the first dominoes to fall. And I think the New York Knicks retain OG Anunoby. You got to retain OG Anunoby. You can't let him go to another team because if that's the case, if he signs to another team, that changes the entire summer. So priority number one, sign OG Anunoby. Whether it's 4 years, 150, you got to sign him. Next up on the list, Mr. Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein was our backup center to start of the pretty much when we signed him. He was signed here to be our backup center behind Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson has gotten hurt. Insert Isaiah Hartenstein into the starting lineup, and boy, oh boy, did the New York Knicks look like a completely different team with Isaiah Hartenstein out there. Obviously, more offensive game, more assists, offensive rebounding is right on par with Mitchell Robinson, but just more of a fit in our starting lineup than Mitchell Robinson was. This is the one who I think has a chance to leave in free agency because another team can offer Isaiah Hartenstein a lot of money. And if another team is willing to offer him a lot of money, I'm not sure the New York Knicks will go down that route simply because they have insurance in Mitchell Robinson if Isaiah Hartenstein was to get a massive bag. But my opinion, Isaiah Hartenstein is another one where you have to bring back because his fit, his tenacity on both ends of the floor, his chemistry that he built up. I think he loves New York, but I think Isaiah Hartenstein is a part of this culture and a part of this road to a championship team, road to a championship title. You're going to have teams out there that will desire Isaiah Hartenstein. He did a lot of great things for the New York Knicks. It's whether or not the New York Knicks feel comfortable in giving Isaiah Hartenstein a lot of money. Look, he could just say, I want to be in New York. I'll take less to be in New York. And that's that. It could just be defined by what the player wants. But sometimes money drives players in certain situations. Isaiah Hartenstein really hasn't gotten the big payday, and this summer he's up for that big payday, so he's earned it. He for sure has earned it. But the fit alongside of Julius, OG Anunoby, and the backcourt, I feel like, it really was a dominant team in January. And Isaiah Hartenstein was a big part of that. So obviously I want back Isaiah Hartenstein. So first, OG Anunoby, you definitely want to bring him back. But Isaiah Hartenstein is the one where I think has a chance to go somewhere else. Next on the list is Mr. Alec Burks. The Knicks acquired Alec Burks from the Detroit Pistons at the trading deadline on deadline day. Knicks thought they were acquiring some scoring along with Bojan Bogdanovic. Alec Burks in February just really couldn't find his way on the court. He was really, to say the least, he wasn't himself. Now, in the playoffs, it was a totally different scenario, but Alec Burks showed a lot in the playoffs, but I do think the Knicks kind of go in another direction. They could go on the younger side. Look, Alec Burks is a true professional. He's a veteran in this league. He's very well respected. Now, he's an unrestricted free agent, so he can sign anywhere. Could the New York Knicks bring him back on a very cheap deal? They could, but, I have a feeling you're going to have one of these teams that are kind of like not in it and not in the playoffs pretty much just sign Alec Burks as like a backup. Pretty much too rich for the New York Knicks liking. Look, shout out to Alec Burks. I think he brought a lot to this team, especially in the playoffs when guys went down. Alec Burks stepped right up there. So I do think Alec Burks will be out the door. I think the Knicks kind of go younger in that direction and more of a playmaking guard back there, which the team needs behind Jalen Brunson. I do think ultimately Alec Burks will be off the New York Knicks. Now, we just talked about it. His partner, who he got traded with, Bojan Bogdanovic. The Knicks have an option for Bojan Bogdanovic. I think it's like $19 or $20 million they can pick up, or they can just let him go. My personal opinion, I think the New York Knicks will pick that up simply due to the fact that he started, honestly, to get it going later on in the season and towards the playoffs. I remember the first few games against the Philadelphia 76ers, especially game one. He had a great game. He's a, bigger guy, 6'8", 6'9". Now, defensively is a struggle for him. Obviously, his strength is offense, shooting. Especially, he's a great shooter, great spot-up shooter, because you need some bodies off your bench, right? And if you're getting rid of Alec Burks, and I'll talk about Precious Achiuwa in a bit, but Bojan, I think, really could help this team out offensively off the bench, give it another spark. And also, don't forget, you can also use that contract at the trading deadline to kind of be a fill-in for a trade. $19, $20 million. You can use that contract if somebody's available at the trading deadline and, ship Bojan with a few first-round picks for let's say DeJounte Murray or something like that. But you can use that contract if a scenario were to pan out where the New York Knicks were involved in a trade to acquire another guy in here. So I think Bojan is going to get picked up. Look, he was another one like Burks. He had his moments, but it really didn't work out at times. But I loved what I saw from him in the playoffs, and unfortunately, he got hurt. And the Knicks need some more durability on this team. It seems like Bojan got hurt, Anunoby got hurt, Mitchell Robinson got hurt, Randall got hurt. And I understand that Bojan is kind of on the older side of the back end of his career. But again, you need some veteran leadership on your team. And Bojan has been there, done that. He has playoff experience. Ultimately, I think he will be back just simply due to the fact that that contract is kind of team friendly and you can use that down the line. And he's also a good player. And so I think Bojan, in my opinion, if I were running the Knicks, I think I would pick up that option and just have him on the bench until something else was to come about. Next up on the list, Mr. Precious Achiuwa. The throw-in Precious Achiuwa got acquired with the OG Anunoby trade, and we didn't really know what to expect from Precious. Obviously, when he got acquired, a lot of Raptors fans were saying, look, don't sleep on Precious. He's a good defender, good rebounder. And boy, oh boy, he had, due to all the injuries, of course, Precious got thrown in there, and I would give him like an A, like an A+. Did his job, didn't do too much. Funny, he signed his rookie contract, and he's already been with 3 different teams. The Heat drafted him, and the Raptors took a chance on him, and then the Knicks. And I think the Knicks ultimately try to find more offense off the bench. Maybe they can retain Precious if it's a low number, but I think the Knicks go in another direction. I think they try to find more of an offensive punch off the bench rather than Precious. And maybe they try to find, a center that can, a stretch five. I know those are extremely rare in this league. Ultimately depend on what Isaiah Hartenstein does and what the Knicks decide to do with Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is another team-friendly contract that is tradable. The Knicks decide to trade Mitch. They could ultimately bring back Precious at a cheaper deal. So this summer is going to be a lot of movement, in my opinion. I think, we're going to see some guys. Obviously, the big dominoes are OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein. Out of this list, I think Anunoby stays, Hartenstein, I'm not sure. I honestly would give Hartenstein 60% chance he stays, 40% chance he goes. Alec Burks, I think, is gone. Bogdanovic, I think the Knicks pick that up, the option up, and I think he stays. Precious, I think he's gone. So it's the bench where I think the New York Knicks kind of tinker with. Obviously, we have the trade rumors surrounding Randall and whatnot, but I think the Knicks tinker with the bench. Look, if they upgrade the shooting guard position, I'm not saying this is not shade at Dante DiVincenzo. I'm just saying if they were to get another co-star alongside of Jalen Brunson, then you would have Dante and Josh Hart off the bench, and that kind of upgrades your bench in that regard. So, but that's what I think the New York Knicks do this summer. OG Anunoby, priority number one. Hartenstein, up in the air, like I said. Let me know in the comments, who do you want to bring back and who do you want to kick out the door? But these are the Knicks free agents this coming summer. It's going to be fun to watch. So hopefully we can retain some of these guys, and hopefully we can build a championship team. And I have confidence in the front office that they will do so. But yeah, smash the comments. Let me know. What are you guys thinking? Who do you want back? Who do you want the Knicks to trade for? Who can you just let go? Do you want OG Anunoby back due to his injury history? Some people don't. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying some people don't. Hartenstein, I think, should be back, but we'll see. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. Subscribe to the channel. As always, it is Let's Go Knicks. I catch you guys next time. Peace.